Hi everyone, welcome back to the lab. This is the Big Scientist channel where we discover the why so you know how. Today, we're going to be experimenting with a game-changing ingredient called brown butter. And before we get into it, go ahead and like and subscribe so you can be on top of the feed when new videos do drop. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Browning butter is the definition of delicious science. I know it can be intimidating, but I'm going to go ahead and break it down for you here so you know how to do it. So first you want to place your butter in a saucepan over medium-low heat. What we want to do is we want to melt the butter slowly to reduce the chance of it burning. So for some background, butter is actually made up of about 80% fat, 15% water, and then about 1 to 2% milk proteins, and then very small percentage of lactose, which is milk sugars. This is important to know because you want to understand what's happening during this browning process. For a quick side note, if you want some interesting food science facts, we have a video about the byproduct of butter, which is called buttermilk. So go ahead and check out our morning science video for that. But back to it, when we brown butter, what we are doing is we are putting the butter through a chemical change called the Maillard reaction. Now, the Maillard reaction is responsible for the browning you see on top of baked goods and foods. It's that delicious caramely nutty aroma you smell when you have a nicely browned food. And the Maillard reaction actually happens between 284 degrees Fahrenheit and 320 degrees Fahrenheit. At this temperature, the water in the butter is released from the fats melt and the water is released, and the lactose starts to melt. The sugar starts to melt. And that sugar actually starts combining with the amino acids from the milk proteins. So proteins, when they are heated, they denature or unwind, and they start to break apart. And so the amino acids that make up those proteins start to combine with the lactose, and this combination of sugar and amino acids actually creates new flavors, new nutty, caramely, delicious flavors in your food. So since its temperature range for the Maillard reaction is really small, it's only about 36 degrees, it's important to continue to watch the butter and smell it and and listen to it. So when the water starts to be released, you'll start hearing it pop and you'll see a lot of bubbles, and this means the water is being released. And that's when your proteins are going to start to denature and your sugars are going to start to melt. So you want to continue to stir it at this point. You don't want the sugars or the proteins to sit on the bottom or they'll burn. So you want to continue to stir it. And soon you'll start seeing it foam up. And this foam is the reaction happening. And soon you'll start to smell this nice, nutty, caramely flavors, and you'll actually start to see little brown specks popping up in the foam. And when you see this, you know it's ready, and you don't want to go too much further because, like I said, it's a small range. So go ahead and take it off the heat. If you're going through the trouble of making brown butter, then you have to go ahead and bake something. So I'm going to go ahead and make some chocolate chip banana muffins. And one quick thing that is pretty cool trick, if you need some room temperature eggs, what you can do is you can take an egg straight from the refrigerator, put some warm water from the tap in your bowl and put your egg in and let it sit for about 2 minutes and you'll have a room temperature egg. That's just a nice little simple hack for you. As a scientist, there's always room for more experiments, so I decided to do a little experiment with some chocolate chips. There's a theory that if you flour your chips or whatever add-in you have for your baked good, that it'll help the add-in, or chocolate chips in this case, stay afloat versus sink to the bottom of your baked good. So I'm just going to flour up some chocolate chips here, and we're going to go ahead and test that theory today. So here we are, our final results for our little experiment. I'm going to go ahead and open up some of these muffins and cut them open and see what they look like. Now, keep in mind, a good scientist should repeat their experiments at least 3 times before making a definite conclusion to their theory. So this is our first attempt, and we will see what it looks like. From what I'm seeing, I think these results are inconclusive, but please feel free to let me know what you think in the comments below. And like and subscribe so you can stay tuned for the next experiments coming up where we can actually test this theory a little bit more and come to a really sound conclusion. But for now, happy baking!